Hi yogis, welcome back to my channel, Yogini Victoria. My name is Victoria and I'm grateful that you are joining me today in this really juicy spinal restorative class. So this class is, we're going to be seated or lying down the entire time, and it's going to be a really great way to get some mobility in the spine. If you sit at a desk for a majority of your day, or even if you stand and walk around a majority of your day, you're probably not moving your spine in all the different ways that it can move. So some types of movements, such as twists, side bends, and back bends, they become much more challenging. So this class is to the goal of this class is to, get some more movement in your spine. This can be a class that you might want to revisit, especially if you feel like you're very stiff and you just want to add that nice healthy movement into your day. For this class, I recommend having 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have blocks, that's okay. But I encourage you to invest in a pair or a set of yoga blocks if you are going to continue practicing yoga, which I very much hope you will. And I also recommend getting a nice thick blanket to support your knees and just, any other aspects of your body that might need some cushion for this class. So if you don't have this type of blanket, I recommend getting some thick like towels or something that'll be nice and cushiony and not slippery. So with that being said, let's get started. We're going to come upright into a seated position. And if you have a blanket or a block, you can sit on it to just elevate your hips a little bit. Just going to roll the shoulders down and back, opening through the heart, the belly is engaged. Maybe close the eyes for just a moment. Arrive on your mat. I mean, we're all mentally on our mats right now, but I mean, we're all physically on our mats right now, but try to arrive mentally as well. Observe your breath. Notice the flow in and out through the nose. Notice how with every inhale your belly and chest rises. With every exhale, your belly and chest fall. Let's take a big inhale in through the nose. And exhale, side out the mouth. One more time, inhale. And exhale, side out the mouth. Okay, let's actually do one more for good measure. Let's inhale in through the nose. And exhale, sigh. All right. You can keep your eyes closed, or if you want to gently blink them open, it's up to you. Just follow along with, my instruction. We're going to sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale, we're going to bring the right arm down, fingertips on the ground. Just gently bend towards the right. So your left arm is coming up and over. You're finding a nice stretch through your left side body. Relax the shoulder away from the ear here. Continue to press the left hip down into the mat. Let's inhale, rise up. Then exhale, bring the left fingertips down, pressing or reaching through the right fingertips this time. Just visualize a ton of expansion between your right fingertips and your right hip. Just breathe into the sensation. Inhale the fingertips up. Let's do each side one more time. So coming down, reaching towards the right. And inhale, rising back up. And then reaching towards the left. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, take the right fingertips back, left hand onto the knee. We're coming into a gentle twist. So inhaling, finding a lot of length through your spine. And as you exhale, gently twist the upper body to the right. Maybe taking your gaze over your right shoulder. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, left fingertips down behind you, right hand onto the knee. Inhaling, finding length, and exhale, gently twisting, maybe taking your gaze over your left shoulder. Inhale back through center. We'll do each side one more time. Exhale, twisting to the right. Inhale, sending the fingertips up. And exhale, twisting towards the left. Inhale, hands up through heart center. And now let's interlace the hands. We're going to flip the palms up towards the sky, really reaching from fingertips through your sits bones. And as you exhale, we're going to bring the palms forward, rounding back, kind of leaning back onto the tailbone a little bit. You're really arching through your back, or your upper back too. And let's inhale, send the fingertips up, exhale, release, sweep the hands back, interlace the fingers behind you, bring the heels of the hands together, and keeping the belly engaged, we're just hugging the shoulder blades together on the back. The fist is pulling towards the earth, so we're opening through the heart. And exhale, take the hands in a prayer position. Let's inhale, interlacing the fingers, sending the hands up, reaching. Exhale, bring the hands shoulder height, rolling back, rounding through the spine. Inhale, taking the hands behind you, interlacing them, heels of the hands coming together, shoulder blades hugging, chest lifts, gentle back bend through the upper back. And exhale, hands through heart center. Let's do one more time, interlacing the hands. Inhaling, the palms up, pressing the sky away. Exhale, coming forward, with the hands coming forward as you round through the back. Inhale, interlacing the hands, maybe the opposite thumb on top, dragging the fist towards the earth, broadening through the heart. And exhale, take your hands into prayer at heart center. Okay, so let's begin by taking a child's pose. And if you have sensitive knees, I really encourage you to get a blanket to support your knees for this sequence. So we're going to take the knees wide, the toes touch, and you can just extend through the spine and take your fingertips long. If you need a block underneath your forehead, you can do that. If bringing your tailbone towards your heels is super hard, you can come onto your back and hug your knees in towards your chest. Yeah, so take whatever variation works for you. Just relax here for a moment, for a few breaths. And let's, on an inhale, come onto all fours. I'm taking the knees hip width distance this time, so they're parallel to each other. And the hands are shoulder width distance. And let's inhale, let the belly drop, taking your gaze forward. Exhale, press the ground away, rounding through the spine. Inhale, cow. Exhale, rounding. This is cat. One more round. Inhaling to cow, letting your heart expand, and exhale, pressing back into cat. Inhale, come to a neutral spine, and I'm sort of in the middle of my mat, so I'm just going to move back a little bit. We're going to come into puppy pose. So the feet or the knees are hip width distance here. The hips are staying over the heels. We're just going to take a big step out with the hands and begin to melt the heart or the forehead towards the mat. So this is a bit of an intense stretch. So if you're very tight in your shoulders, or if you even have a shoulder injury, I advise against doing that. If you have tight shoulders though, I'm sorry, you can still do this, but you might want a block here to rest underneath your forehead. So you can be here. Or you could even bring the block up higher. So you're still getting that opening through the armpits, but you're not as low to the ground. So find whatever variation works for you. Again, keeping the hips over the knees. And most important part is that you're continuing to breathe. So if you find that you're holding your breath, it means that you went too far and just back out a little bit. Maybe use the block, even if you didn't initially use it. So we're going to hold this pose for a few breaths. So be somewhat comfortable where, you're not short of breath, there's no pinching or anything. Just soften the heart towards the earth. Pressing into all 10 fingers and into your palms. And 3 more deep breaths here. And on your next inhale, we're going to roll forward onto the belly. So take your time. Okay. And actually, if you were using the blanket underneath your knees, and you still want to use the blanket, please put the blanket underneath your hips. So you're going to need to adjust. And if you have it underneath the knees, it puts a little bit too much compression on the low back. So, okay, so we're going to find Dolphin Pose, which I'm not dolphin, I'm sorry, Sphinx Pose, which I'm already doing. So the feet are about hip width distance. Your belly or your pubic bone is pressing into the mat, so you're not just slumped down in your low back, you're really engaging through your core. And the elbows are underneath the shoulders. The fingertips are spreading wide, and you're kind of guiding the elbows back towards your heart as your shoulder blades pull back and finding a lot of expansion through the chest. Okay, so the legs are also engaged, the kneecaps are lifting, pubic bone pressing down, taking the gaze straight. If this is too intense on your low back, you can alleviate the pressure by walking the hands out in front of you. So this way your elbows are not underneath your shoulders. So this is one alternative. If you have a very flexible back and you want to go a little bit deeper, you can even press your hands and begin to straighten your arms, but you know your body. Only do that if it feels good. Right now, I'm only instructing that everyone does the traditional Sphinx pose here, or the modified sending the elbows further away from you to alleviate or reduce the back bend. So find the version that works for you. Taking a few breaths here, closing your eyes if that feels good. And on your next exhale, let's release the forehead down, stacking the hands and windshield wipering the legs side to side. All right. And let's begin to make our way back up to a seated position. Or actually, we're going to lie down on the ground. I changed my mind. We're going to lie down on the ground. And if you have blocks, I recommend grabbing them, or grabbing at least one to have by your side. So we're just going to do some spinal twist, which feels super good. So you could take your arms out to cactus, bending 90 degrees at the elbow, or you could take them out to a T and press into the feet. I'm going to shift the hips over towards the left and then bring the knees down towards I'm sorry, did I say you're pressing into your feet, taking your hips over to the right and knees down to the left. Okay, so if your knees are really high off the ground, this is where a block or even two blocks will be really nice to put underneath your knees. You could even take the block in between each of your knees, play around with whatever feels best for you. Let's relax both shoulders onto the mat. Take a few deep breaths here. And on your next inhale, let's come back through center, readjusting the hips and pressing into the feet. Shift the hips over to the left and draw the knees down to the right. Again, maybe using a block underneath the knees or in between the knees, whatever your body needs in this moment. Sometimes one side is different than the other. Just relax the left shoulder down. Take a few deep breaths. Inhale, the legs back up through center, readjusting. And let's find a Shavasana pose. So you could either take the legs out long, or if you want some extra support on your low back, you can bring the feet as wide as the mat and draw the knees in towards each other. Just relax the palms face up towards the sky in a gesture of receiving. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the face, releasing the tongue from the roof of your mouth, softening through the belly, the legs, and the feet. Just letting your body melt completely into the mat. Shavasana. And when you're ready, you can begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, maybe rotating your wrists and your ankles, taking your head side to side, arriving back into your body. And let's roll over onto your right side, fetal pose. Just taking a moment to reflect on your practice, to find some gratitude for yourself for practicing yoga, for making it onto your mat today. And let's make our way up to a seated position, keeping the eyes closed, or the gaze soft. And taking my hands to heart center, coming back to your breath. Thank you all for joining me today in this practice. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to continue to stay on your mat and practice a little more yoga, recommend this video linked below. Please let me know how this class was for you. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you again. Namaste.